Hello Heinzl crew and welcome back to Vaultober, where old ideas from the Heinzl vault get a fresh new twist. Each day in October, a new door in the Vaultober calendar unlocks to reveal an idea from the past. On my video days, like for example today, I take that idea, revisit it and give it a brand new twist to inspire your own projects. And today we are going back to my very first ideology make I made for one of the live streams for Tim Holtz. And this is so special to me when I have this here in my hands after such a long time. You know, when I created it, it's already a few years back. This is crazy because I will never forget his reaction when he saw this and especially when he opened this during his stream. You can find the link to his live stream on yesterday's Vaultober post, and perhaps you want to watch that if you haven't seen it yet. That was just I think the funniest moment I ever had with him, with him. I was not in his studio when he did that, but it was with him because I was sitting on my couch and watching that stream, and it was just so freaking funny. So today I want to take this journal here and the idea, which is the main theme of the journal, and that's this here. And this is also approximately what you could see in his live stream when he opened the journal. First he talked about this, and he talked about that this little light here is camouflaged very well and that you can turn this on and off, and he talked about this and the door and everything. There's a whole flip through about this journal on the post from yesterday, so that's why I don't go in detail about this here in this video. You can watch that by watching the other video. And then he opened it, and first he talked about this, and when he then came to this page, his hand moved like so because he wanted to hold this closer to his eyes. I'm assuming that it was like that because he had it like this, and then he was like, wait, are you kidding me? And the journal went very close to the camera, and I remember this moment exactly like it was yesterday. He cracked me up with his reaction because what I did was I took two different photo booth no, it's not photo booth. This is called Photomatic photos, and I've split them in half just by tearing them, and then I have put them back together so that we get this really crazy and creepy, funny character. And I did that for all of the portraits here in this journal. I also included some packaging here from the ideology materials, and this journal is full of these portraits here. So I thought, why don't we take this idea and look what we did here. There's also a video where I show you how I made these portraits, a very detailed video, what I thought when I made these and how I made them work so that, this looks really like a new face in the end. You can find that video in the blog post about this journal. And that blog post is linked in the Vaultober post from yesterday. So if you click the link in the video description of this video, there you will find the Vaultober calendar. And if you could then click to the post from yesterday, there you will find everything about this journal. There are also separate videos that are videos with music and with a little, speed up kind of thing about the single pages. So there's like a whole playlist thing about this journal if you want to know more about that and how I did this, and if you want to see this close and, all the details, then please check that out. So I thought, why don't we quickly think about how I did this, and then put a little twist to that by somehow doing the opposite things of what I did here. And I want to create some, let's call them fluffy collage strips or so. Even if the fluff is not really touchable because the fluff is digital. On the post from yesterday, you can find some freebies, which I made for you because I thought not everyone has a material like this because the pages in this journal are made from fabric, and that is also what... Holy cow, I'm sorry, that was my alarm. That is also what makes this so fluffy. I frayed all of these edges here. There's also a video, you know, on the post I've just mentioned, where I show you how I made this grungy fluff here. Yeah, I have also some mummy cloth in here, which gives additional fluff. But I thought not everyone has this kind of material, and when you look at this, you can also see this was very time consuming. He went a lot of effort and a lot of time into this journal, and I wanted to have something which looks like fluff, but which can be done within a few minutes. Yeah, and if you think, oh, I want to make something like this, then you can still watch the other videos, and you will have a very detailed kind of instruction thing how to do something like this. But to be honest, I also like some simple projects, you know, where we don't need to spend this much time. And what I also want to mention is, here I, of course, used a ton of ideology materials. Nearly everything in this journal is by ideology. Why? Because it was an ideology make, and that's why everything is ideology, except this book here, which I combined with the things from ideology. So this is an original vintage book, which I then somehow have tried to, yeah, seamlessly combine with the ideology elements. And I wanted to have something which is inspired by this, but which is a little faster than, you know, faster doable than this was. So yeah, I will quickly turn off the light here so that my batteries don't, you know, go empty. I think that is not English, but you know what I mean. So these are the freebies which you could get on yesterday's post. I have this purple page here, then this. And as you can see, this looks like fluffy stuff. And I also tried to include somehow different kinds of tastes. If you like colors but more vintage, use this purple stuff because it's a little more, you know, not so extreme like this and this. Do you know what I mean? This is a little bit more, perhaps if you want to have it for an art journal with thousands of colors or so, or a rainbow journal or whatever. Then I have a 100% neutral page, and then this one, because I thought two of these in different colors would be great, and also the texture is here a little different. So I'm hoping that you like these freebies, and if you haven't downloaded them yet, you can still do that. Yeah. Before I go into detail about today's project, I quickly want to explain that, because I have the feeling that some of you have a problem, and that is, I mean, that is completely normal because Vaultober is new on my page. How could you know anything about it? Some of you have a little problem with finding the things. So I want to quickly show you how to come to the Vaultober page. You can do that via different ways. So let's say you are on my Instagram, for example, or you are sitting in front of your computer, or you have your phone in your hands. Yeah, that's nearly no difference. If you are on my Instagram, you can click here where it says link in bio / Luise Heinzl, or you can also go to my website. It's linked down below the video. And when you click here, when you come from Instagram, this is the page you see then, because this is my Linktree page. And then you can just click this link where it says Vaultober 2025. But there's absolutely no difference if you click this link or the link I post on, for example, the YouTube community tab, or the link I post on Facebook. Wherever you see a link, yeah, the Vaultober 2025 link is always the same link, like behind this little thing. And no matter if you click this button or if you click the link, you will come to my website. You have to accept the cookies here, like with every other website as well. And then you are here. If you want to click the link, which is in the description box of the video, you can also do that. And what you then see is just the main page of my homepage, which looks like this. You can also see the address, luiseheinzl.at. And then you can just click on this little picture here, and you come, as you can see, to exactly the same page like via the link tree from Instagram. Yeah, and then you can, if you want to read this text, but here's nothing else, then I always say in my videos as well. And then here you can find the calendar. Please don't be confused if you have a smartphone in your hands. The calendar looks a little bit weird. It's just a row that has to do with my technical stuff here and how the website is built. If you have this open on your computer in a normal browser on a computer, laptop or so, then the calendar looks really like a calendar. Yeah. So if you want to see that in the way I planned it, you know, I made it beautiful and not in such a row, then please visit that on your computer. It looks way more beautiful and it's easier readable, but you know, I can't bring my computer here to my desk. That's not possible. But what I want to say is here are all of the closed doors. Yeah, so that means all of these here are still closed because, you know, we are not there yet. And on the day where I'm recording this, also these doors are still closed. Please don't be confused. I don't even know which date is today for you. October 18th or something like that. So that means these are all, while you are watching this, these are all already open. Yeah, they then look like this, where you can then see a little picture, also with the number, instead of the number, only the number. Yeah, here you don't know what's behind the door, but here and here you can see what's behind the door. And this also shows you that the door is already open. So when you see this picture, you can click on it. And here, for example, you come then to the post from October 5th, and you can see that here. You can see all of the videos which are linked here. You can see detailed photos of the project we made in that video. You can find digitals here with discount codes, and you can also on most of the days find freebies, which I created exclusively for Vaultober 2025 and obviously for you, and which you can then download here by clicking these green buttons where it says download. And that way you can click each of these little pictures. I'm really sorry that I only have 2 examples here, but that's because I'm filming ahead, obviously. Otherwise, I couldn't, you know, manage my life anymore if I wouldn't do that. So that's why only 2 days are open. Yeah, the doors of 2 days are open so far. But when you see this, there's already more available. So that means even if you see this video today, yeah, and the other doors are already open, you can still go to the calendar and click all of these and grab all of the freebies, grab all of the discounts if you want for the digitals. All of the discount codes are available. I'm so sorry. Available. Valid? What is that a word? I mean, is valuable a word? A word? Valuable. Valuable. Why is valuable also gültig? I wanted to say valid. Is valuable really a word? All of the discount codes are valid until the end of November 2025. Okay, so that being said, give me junk journal medicine. Give me my paper and then just leave me alone. So what I have here is what I want to use for today's idea. I have here the freebies. Could you use other paper? Yes. Could you use fabric like I used in this journal? Yes. You can use whatever you want. Then I have my vintage photo strips ephemera pack here. As you can see, these are already cut apart, but that's good for today's idea. And I also have my vintage photo strips Halloween edition here. You can find both of these also linked in today's Vaultober post with 50% off. All of the discount codes during Vaultober are 50% off for these digitals. So, you know, if you want to have them, grab the code and get the discount. And I want to try to make something like, yeah, a fluffy collage strip with, let's perhaps even call it fluffy snippet collage strip, because I thought, since I have these already and they are cut into pieces, why don't we use these, which I just printed. They can come fresh from my printer, and do something which is pretty similar to what I did in the journal, but the opposite thing. Yeah, so I want to try that, and I want to combine all of these papers with each other. If you don't have digital paper or something like this, or if you don't have a printer, please use portraits which you have. Perhaps you have the ideology portraits. I thought if you want to make it with the ideology items, you could also do that, because the photo booth photos are also these strips, so you could do that, and then you could use, for example, the Photomatic photos and combine them with them. Yeah, that's no difference. And you could do that even without a printer, and then you would just have to find a paper which you want to combine with that. But I think that's no problem, because you have hopefully some paper at home. So the first thing I want to do is I want to choose one of these pages, and I think I want to go with this purple color here. Somehow that speaks to me. And let's then take a stamp. I would say preferably with script, but use whatever you have and whatever you want. I happen to have this here, which is called Halloween Silhouettes CMS 115 by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. And I want to use this big background stamp here. I'm going to use some archival ink black suit, and my plan is to stamp this pretty randomly to the background. I don't necessarily want to be able to read what the stamp says, but I just want to have something on this background. This looks now really cool, I would say, and it's a great background for what I want to do. So let's talk about the things I did here, and let's then do the opposite of what I did here. Here, for each of these portraits, I have taken 2 different photos, but 2 different single photos, yeah, like these little rectangles. I've torn them apart horizontally, well, approximately horizontally. You can see like this and not like this, yeah? And then I have glued them back together. So that means it was 2 single photos torn horizontally and then glued back together. So why don't we do the opposite thing of these things I did here? Meaning, why don't we take such a strip instead of single photos? I will quickly cut this. And obviously you could use these for making belly bands or whatever you like. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to use them in the way I want to do it now. So then for the journal, I have torn the photos, and I did that horizontally. So let's do the opposite thing. Let's cut them instead of tearing them, and let's do that vertically instead of horizontally. So I'm trying to line this up here approximately in the center of this thing. And because of these, because of the fact that these people are not all in the center, we will get, in the center of the picture, I mean, we will get different portions. So for example, here, this woman, the face is cut exactly in half. Here, for example, it's not exactly the half, and that means here on the other side there's also just this portion. But I think for Halloween That could be great. And then I also want to take these because these are not Halloween, and I really like the combination of these creepy creatures in combination with these. And as you can see, they are way bigger than these. Yeah, so the faces on the single images are way bigger. So I thought in the other journal, this is not a journal, why the other journal? In the journal, I used photos which were like the same size. And I also, and that is another thing which I want to do differently here, I also, I tried to mix and match them so that, for example, I have cut them apart and then I looked if this face, for example, and this face are approximately the same size. So I've torn them and then I have taken one piece and I've put that on the other one to line this up as exactly as I could. If you look at this here, for example, you can see that the face is nearly like, you know, like one. And it's not that this here, for example, is wider than the head. And I struggled a little bit with that, to be honest. The running gag Amazon man. The funny thing about this man is I've never seen his face. But he brought my socks. I've ordered some socks on Amazon. Speaking about, I've never seen his face. I took this piece and when I had that, I looked where would it make the most sense, not only for the new face and how that shall come out, but also to line the face up here on the left and the right where the noses are, where the ears are, where the nose is, and so on. And that took a lot of time. That was a lot of fun. But I thought, what if we take this without thinking about it, cut this apart, and here I want to use up these photos which I already used for some other things, you know, where they are already cut apart, and so I thought, why don't we just use a few of these up. And now I want to take some glue and I want to somehow intuitively start gluing this down. And by intuitively, I mean without overthinking this. So I take this, I put my glue only to the edge here because I want to be able to layer something under here in a second. So I start here. I think I want to leave a little frame here because I think that looks nice when we later on cut that into strips. Then we have this nice little frame here. So then I'm going to take one of these. These are from the regular vintage photo strips and not from the Halloween edition. And I just put this on here like so. And then I have taken out some of my snippets. These are all stamped and cut out, stamped with the Curator stamp set and what's the name of the other one? I think it's called Tidbits, isn't it? By Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. But you could also take the Curator ephemera pack by Ideology or whatever snippets you might have. I also have some snippet ephemera packs in my shop if you want to have some digital snippets which you can print and use for something like this. It's worth to check out today's Vaultober post because, as you can guess you can get 50% off on those. And let's leave just a little space to this one, because the plan is I want to cut them later like so that this is then my collage strip. So let's do it the same here. Let's just glue this here with a little distance so that we can later on cut it approximately here. Okay, so here I'm back. Everything is dry, and as you can see, I've added some sewing, which is obviously optional. So then let's take our paper trimmer and determine where we want to cut these apart. I think these would make really great belly bands. That's probably what I will use them for later in one of my next journals. And now I thought, why don't we add some special things to each of these to make them on the one hand match and on the other hand unique, and you know that each of these is somehow different. I have these left from the video where we made these moths here. In that video I have taken the spider webs and layered them, you know, here with the moths. And where's the half one? I thought, how far can I come with 1.5 spider webs on this project? I would love if that would be diagonal. And for this one, I think I will just cut this in half and then put one here. Let's then cut this in half, put one here, and the last one here. And then I've also taken out this little thing here. In here I have some very much loved but also hoarded ideology pieces. Like for example this stuff here. Just cut this out. And staple this on here. Oh, I like that. What else do we have? This is probably not so good because it's not completely see-through. What about... Ooh, a moth here. I really like that, but do you know what? I think I want to add one of my moths as a top layer. So this is a moth by Ideology, and this here is one from my Moth and Paper Flutter printable. I want to add some thread so that we perhaps have a little bit more of this idea with the fluff on these strips, not only because we have these fluffy looking printables, but also some touchable fluff. That's cool. Okay, can we find something for here as well? Perhaps, well, even did I say I want them to be different, but somehow, oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. This color of the moth with this there in the background. Oh, that is perfection. And I think I'm already pretty happy with these, but shall we add some additional splatters, because we have the splatters only on the background layer here so far. So let's perhaps take some scorched timber. I thought about black splatters for a second, but since we have the spider webs already, perhaps brown could also be good. And when this dries, I mean, scorched timber is very dark, isn't it? Then it's perhaps the better color choice. And don't forget to check out the Vaultober calendar. You will find a ton of freebies and discount codes there. I repeat myself, I know, but I want to make sure that everyone really hears that, so that you don't miss that. And then tomorrow another door of the Heinzl vault is going to open, and you can explore that. There won't be a video with a new idea for tomorrow here on my channel, but behind tomorrow's door of the Vaultober calendar, there you can find a repost of an older idea, and I've added other matching things like photos and other things where I thought that could be a nice addition to that, so that you can check that out and perhaps you can find some inspiration there for your own projects. I mean, that is the idea behind Vaultober. And then on my next video day, we will see again with another reimagined idea, where I then will take one of the old ideas and mix that with something else and give it a new twist. Exactly like with these strips here and these, yeah, is this now still a portrait? I mean, when we look at this, is it a portrait or is it just a collage strip? I don't know, not so sure. But I think the definition for this is completely unimportant, because it was fun and we can use this for one of our next journals, and that's the main thing, of course, behind such an idea. So see you the next time. I hope you like this, and if you have any questions, then please feel free to leave a comment below the video, and I'm hoping that you can find some time to craft some things for your own journals or loose ephemera or whatever you might be up to. So see you the next time. Bye!